Record. We're recording. You still see onestepremove.com, the homepage, so to speak, or the slide.
Yeah, yeah, I see the slide. But it says presented by broker in
Right,
name.
right. That's. I'm starting the presentation now. Welcome everybody. It's Adam Beebe with Latonas.com. We're joined by the owner of the website One Step Removed, Sean Overton. Sean, if you would say hi.
Hey, everybody.
And I apologize. Presented by I'm much more than just a broker. No, my name's Adam Beebe and Sean. So we'll just move on from there. Um, Looking forward to this, Sean. You'll do a great job, and we've got a good turnout. And I'm sure there's going to be some people watching this as a recording. If you are watching this live, you probably have figured out right now you can't talk, but you can ask questions. I've got the functionality here where you type in the questions in the questions bar through the GoToMeeting functionality, and they will be asked verbatim either at the moment you type them in or throughout the course of the conversation as we may be covering it. So just realize that's reality. If you haven't already done so, obviously, well, if you're hearing this, you've done it. And if it's a recording, it's not necessary. So you're hearing this. So moving forward. What we have here is a programming site that offers programming services. Um, it's one that Sean will get more into detail as far as the structure of it. All the data that someone could possibly want initially is on latonas.com, and it all you need to do is sign up with your email to access the past 12 months of revenue, expenses, uniques, and page views, as well as a snapshot of the business. Now, what can be provided to you? This is anyone listening other than Sean. What can be provided to you is an NDA, is a prospectus, and we send that over once you sign an NDA that you'll be sent. So having said all that, Sean, I'm going to turn the mic over to you, if you would, to some detail. Just go over the history of the site, and then we'll move forward from there.
Sure. I started the site in 2007 and had my first paying customer about a month later. My background was as a Forex broker, and I got really involved with automated trading as a broker. And I decided to go out and start my own programming business because I noticed I had a lot of customers that were asking for automated strategies. As the site built up, I eventually developed a specialty in MetaTrader, and originally I just used a network of freelancers. I had programmed my own stuff, but I wasn't really good at programming myself. And as the business evolved, I realized it's going to be a lot better if I bring things in-house. So I taught myself how to program, and with the relationships I built up with customers, I did that within 2 or 3 years of founding the site. And then I eventually hired my current employee, Chris, who is a full-time programmer. He's been a programmer for 20 years to handle the main bulk of it. And that was the start of the site really taking off. I've been doing this for 7 years now. Back in January, I decided to switch roles to my current position, which is just a much bigger opportunity. But the site itself is a very well-established, mature business. It has more than 1,500 about that paid projects that we've completed on behalf of customers. Most of our revenue is from repeat customers. We have very well established relationships, and we have a content strategy that you see on the screen here where we publish articles about Forex trading, about developing strategies, trying to put ideas in people's heads so that they decide to come up with their own automated trading strategy and hopefully hire us to build it for them. And to promote the content, we have an email list that has about 3,500 subscribers. We usually publish about once a week, and whenever that article goes out, a couple days later, I'll hit the email list, and the point of that really is just to keep them fresh. The email list itself is very responsive. They have about a 20 to 25% open rate and about a 10 to 15% click-through rate, depending on the content that's sent. I think that's a pretty good overview.
Hey, have you done this before, Sean? That was excellent. Yeah, and I think what you, yeah, I think what you've painted is, look, the the a real value of this site is that you have a very responsive 3500 in the forex atmosphere, if you will, contacts, and a lot of your business is repeat, and I would assume referral. I know you and I have spoken before. Jim, the employee, is open to staying on with with a new buyer, if you will, or a new owner. There are opportunities, obviously, for freelancers and such like that, but your footprint within the forex industry is has been and is getting more established, and that's really a big value, I think.
Yes, absolutely. And the employee's very committed to working on the site. He really likes his job, and for me, it's almost entirely hands off. He works and manages himself. He does all of the sales, he does the customer relationships, the tech support. He makes sure that they fill out the agreement before we start programming. Literally everything. All I do is run payroll and send out the weekly newsletter. That takes me half hour to an hour a week.
That's fantastic. We'll get a bit more in depth as far as what you do, but you pretty much encapsulated it since it's so little, which is a good thing.
That's not
That's
much.
a compliment. That's a great thing. All right, so the Wayback Machine, anybody can log on to this. This bolsters what you said. It went live in about 2007. Has it always, I guess, as far as the functionality of the site, have you always like put up content? Have you always built the newsletter, the email list? Have you always, I mean, is the business model slightly changed since you've had it, other
Uh,
than moving from freelance to an in-house employee?
the business model is always focused on programming, but the way I went about getting customers has changed a lot. So in 2007, when I launched the site, it was me programming the site myself and putting it out there and buying some Google AdWords. And amazing, much to my surprise, it really worked. Google AdWords was still gaining a lot of traction, and the ads at the time were very cheap. So I was able to get customers in relatively short order without very much established content. But as I had grown and become more established in the market, by 2010, I was really wanting to have more control because I was completely dependent on organic traffic. I felt like I could do a bit more, but I didn't have any background in internet marketing at all. So it was the process of going through blogs and learning online and finding gurus that I trusted to start figuring out what's valuable and what's important. And that's the point where I started collecting emails was 2010. And by 2000, I think it was about 2011, around March or April, was when I really became committed to a content strategy. So up until that point, I was putting out long pages as permanent features on the site. And when I finally was on board with the idea of blogging, I went whole hog with it. I was posting about once a week, I think, and that really worked. By 2012, I had committed to doubling the website traffic, and it succeeded. Uh, but that wasn't something I really wanted to do. I don't like blogging. It's just not my passion. So I eventually started hiring writers to produce the content for me. They're better at it, and they are a lot more verbose, which is good because there seems to be a lot more correlation with the page length and the amount of traffic it gets versus me being rather concise and just getting to the point. And 400 words later, the search engines don't like it as much. So and then in the process, ever since 2008, I started a YouTube channel, and that is also included with a sale. That's overwhelmingly been my biggest organic marketing success. The channel's very popular. It's had more than 400,000 views, all of them 100% organic. There's monthly revenue coming in off the YouTube ads every month, and the content itself is evergreen. So instead of doing what a lot of sites do, like Forex analysis or trying to comment on current market conditions, all of the blog articles, the YouTube videos, everything comment about trading, things that are never going to change. So I talk about, in the YouTube channel, I sit and interview traders and talk about their learning experiences, uh, when they've blown up accounts. We talk about the emotions behind trading, the learning curve, what it takes to be successful, things that are going to be as true in 10 years as they are today. And with the blog, we do the same thing. Instead of focusing on one hot tip or trying to get people to place trades, we talk about ideas that they might use to analyze a system. GAN lines have been in the market for 30 years. That was on the slide as a current content. We put that up there in the hopes that it'll get some traffic and click-throughs in 5 years. And that's the main thrust of the content strategy.
Okay, very clear. I appreciate that. I've advanced to the traffic, which I know you had said you did AdWords and then transitioned mostly. I know you do some email marketing and you do some social media. You care to speak as far as peaks and valleys of the traffic? What you see is the last year as an aggregate, Google Analytics on it. What do you think's relevant here?
So in October 2013, there's a pretty big spike. That was when one of the videos got picked up on Zero Hedge, which is one of the larger finance industry news sites. And that also drove quite a number of video views. Coming into the summer, July, August, you notice there's huge spikes there. And honestly, I don't know what the reason is. All of those are organic, direct traffic from the United States. I don't know why it spiked, and I honestly don't have any kind of plausible theory. Business is better, so I'm glad it came. But I honestly, I've tried very hard to track down where it came from, and I don't
Yeah, so
know.
you can replicate it, obviously. And as you mentioned, as far as this is English U.S., English Great Britain, the overwhelming majority of the traffic that comes in is from the U.S. And that's do you get a lot of contract work, or does Jim work on a lot of? I guess I mean it's not really relevant. I'm
Yeah,
sure you
actually, we have
do.
a pretty broad
Yeah,
international presence. Even though a large chunk of our traffic is US, we
right.
have relationships around the world. It is Forex, which is a
People who are
very
making the money. Yeah, I mean, yeah, and your point's well taken. Whereas there may be visitors to a site, the vast majority is U.S. You have a diverse book of business of clients you've actually done work with and work for.
yes.
Yeah, that makes sense. Okay, and as you related, direct traffic, especially at the spikes here over the summer, you mentioned they were direct. Um, Social media. I mean, I know you have a YouTube channel. When did you start that? Is it growing? What other social media outlets do you have?
We have Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube. The YouTube has been overwhelmingly the bigger success. Facebook, I never really found a format that drives a lot of engagement, and I had a very hard time measuring the return on investment. I've tried boosting posts and pushing through clicks, but aside from jumping my traffic numbers, I didn't notice any tangible benefit. The YouTube channel has been the most valuable because it lets people develop some kind of relationship with us. So even though the numbers aren't big, a very large percentage of the people that have watched the YouTube videos are the ones that have done business with us. And that's just because they've sat through an interview that takes 25 minutes. They're really engaged, they're listening to the content, and they like what they hear. So that built up a great degree of trust. And that's been a lot of our content strategy, not just for the YouTube channel, but on the blog. So most of these guys are trying to tout Forex as some kind of quick and easy solution, but the vast majority of the audience has been trading for a while, and that means that almost all of them have lost money. So they really appreciate the honest tone and the willingness to discuss the challenges that come with trading instead of just all of the daydreams. And because we've built honesty and a reputation, then when clients approach us with an interest in doing business, they're far, far more likely to convert.
All right, thanks for the pretty extensive explanation there. I know you don't do any well, you don't with any significance go out and pursue a backlink profile here, but we do see some external backlinking. What do you see of relevance here?
Yeah, I've never done any kind of serious effort into getting backlinks. I kick the tires, so to say, with trying to guest blog. I think I did two of those. We have relationships with Informed Trades. That's a large number of the backlinks. I knew the owner of that site. Those links are permanent just because it's a forum. But yeah, that's honestly, I came from a background of running a business, and mine is not internet marketing. So the backlinks could absolutely be stronger. I think the page rank of the site is 3, and with more backlinks, and especially from authority sites, that would do a lot better. If somebody was bringing that to the table, they could definitely up the organic traffic quite a bit.
Sure, makes sense. And this is more just bolstering what you said as it relates to efforts in backlinking or lack thereof, and that's that's not necessarily a bad thing. That's just going to be something, and can definitely be uh, more of a place of movement and progress. So let me advance here. Um, these are some sites that you do backlink to. Anything within the Forex community that's really impressive? Trading Heroes, Earn
Earn
Forex.
Forex is one of the yeah, Earn Forex is one of the bigger sites. We were on their resources page as an EA programming company. Trading Heroes is a guy that found me on YouTube, and he has his own YouTube channel and wanted to interview me. His site gets some pretty decent organic traffic. Um, Forex News is another guy I know. So he, for a while, was republishing some of the content just to pad out his site a bit more.
Okay, and I know your relationship with those individuals is relevant, as is the work that Jim's done to the site. And going on the assumption whether Jim continues with the site or not, these relationships you'll be able to do introductions with the new owner
Yeah,
to.
these are one-time things. These aren't anything that's ongoing or critical to running the business. And yeah.
Okay, fair enough. Um, you know, really what we're looking at here, obviously, is the SEM rush, and it's something that you're not out there trying to buy traffic or trying to boost this. What you're trying to do is just close really clients on your existing email, and then also getting referrals from them. So this makes sense. You're just not really working the link profile or the keyword profile. So
Exactly.
I'm not saying this isn't relevant, but it's just not what you do. So um, sorry about that. We sometimes put in blank slides just if we want to add something. Where we've gotten to right now is something that'll even be quiet even more because these are admin sections slides. Sean, I'm going to put myself on mute and follow along. But when you want me to advance the slide, just let me know. Tell me what we're seeing right now, and then take it away.
Okay, so the site's powered by WordPress. We moved to that probably 5 years ago. Ever since I decided to pursue a content strategy, that's what it's run on. Uh, the site that or the page you're looking at now is the dashboard, which is where it loads to after I log in. And I never do anything from there except click on the left menu, which you see in the dark gray. And if you want to advance the slide. Okay, so media is where I store all of the images. I just like to use WordPress to do that. It's easier to associate it with the blog article. I don't reuse images, so it's easier just to put it in there, and if I need to delete it or manipulate it, then I can go there, but honestly, I don't spend very much time there. And then next slide. So pages I have not updated in a long time. This is the heart of the site where these are the fixed pages that people go to when they're evaluating the services. The main pages on the site are programming specific calls to action, saying this is what we do, this is how we operate, this is why you should use us for your programming. And then of course trying to draw people's attention to the fact that that's our primary service. Everything else is extra. We have a free expert advisors section, which is automated trading strategies. We want to get people to download them for 2 reasons. One, we use it for email capture, and that builds our lead list. And number two, it develops some trust in that we know how to program these things. They've got our names on it, and it gives them the opportunity to get to know us a little bit better and to test a product and hopefully use it in their trading. And then when they do have their own idea, they can come to us. Next slide. Comments is a reasonably active portion of the site. We get a couple of comments a week on our blog articles, and most often those directly follow the email blasts. I like these because they really help me engage with the audience. I don't have to wait for them to come up with their own strategy. They can read the article and then comment on it immediately, and a lot of them do. And after you've had one person comment a couple of times, they're far, far more likely to approach you with some kind of business deal. So the comments are a great way to encourage engagement and to get to know each other and to build relationships, but there's very little overhead. It's just like writing one email and you're done. Next slide. Posts are where I have the blog articles. So when I have the writers that I hire, I give them admin access to WordPress. They write the entire articles. Uh, Almost every writer, actually every writer I've worked with, provides images as part of it. So they upload the article, do the editing themselves, put in the images, and then they just tell me that it's ready. All I have to do is go in, click on the article, read through it, make sure that I'm happy with the content. I don't read it word for word. I really just make sure that they're not saying anything I find objectionable, no claims of profits or crazy performance, and then I'm looking for just glaring grammar mistakes, but that's usually a quick pass. I read through it and then I'm done and I hit publish and we're off. Next slide. Plugins, I put this in the prospectus just because we do use a number of plugins. We have, for example, security features. So with a lot of WordPress sites, a lot of people try to do brute force attacks. We use extremely secure passwords, and we've also changed the login link with a plugin, and that prevents the brute force attacks because it's not the normal login URL. We do things like use a CDN to speed up the content delivery, and that's a very low cost. I think that's $9 a month. We have Google Analytics plugin. Just I don't know. I think there's 20 or so that we actively use. I'll do small but important things that I've found help either improve the site performance or enhance security or something along those lines. Next slide.
One moment. Here we go. And I advance, and again, we put in slides as needed here. If you would, tell us about the day-to-day operation of the site. You touched upon it already. It bears more repeating. You've already gone over your background, which, you say you taught yourself programming. You're not an internet marketer. I guess what you brought to the table when you developed the site, what you've learned since you've had the site, and really how many hours that is so someone can kind of guesstimate and accurately evaluate how long it would take them. So go ahead.
Okay, yeah, the way I learned the business was by getting my hands very dirty, interacting with customers, figuring out what the problems are, managing expectations, providing an excellent service to customers so we build those repeat relationships. But that's all on autopilot now. So I spent 7 years developing the site, and around the end of last year is when I started transitioning out of the business. So it's all in the hands of my employee, Chris, now. Chris literally runs everything day to day. He does the sales, the phone calls, the programming, the support, make sure clients have paid, make sure that we have the signed agreements, every single aspect of the business, except for sending the email list, managing the writers, which there's not much managing. They just send it on a schedule, and then payments. I have to run payroll. So in terms of hours, it can be as little as half an hour. If it is a busy week, it might be 2 hours. But day to day is very low, very simple. It's designed so I have a full-time job like I do to operate itself, and I just leave it in Chris's hands and really make high level decisions, but the details are completely in his hands.
That sounds great, actually. Site growth, future expectations. If you were to keep the site, what are your plans in order to get what the whole point is, get more customers and make more?
Yeah, so my biggest criticism of myself is I never found cross sales opportunities. So with the programming, it's great and it's a steady business, but if somebody doesn't have a programming idea, I never found the product that I wanted to sell them, so I could talk to everybody in my audience instead of a segment of my audience. The way I'm addressing that is I've spent the last couple of months working with an email broker. And what this guy does is he finds people that want to sell Forex products, and then he wants to find people that have an audience. Well, I have an audience, and I certainly don't have the time to go through and find affiliate relationships and to dig through them. And what he does is he provides me the emails, and I either approve it or disapprove it. And if I approve it, then it goes out to my email list, and I get paid 70% of the revenue that comes from that. And they're quite lucrative because the response is very good from a list. So on the emails, I get two, like on this last one, this test launch that we just did this last week, I made about $800, and that was from sending one simple email. And I think the list can reasonably tolerate 2 to 3 of those per month, and that's the easiest way that I see to dramatically improve the profitability because I don't have to do anything. I'm All I have to do is keep making sure that the traffic gets on the list. That's all on autopilot. The writers drive the content. Everything I need to keep the list warm is there. The overhead for doing that is already built into the current revenue numbers. And all I have to do is add 2 to 3 more emails to the schedule, and it's a pretty big jump to the profitability.
Got it. How busy is Jim? Meaning, if could he handle twice as many projects in a timely manner? Could he handle 50% more?
Yeah, Chris is really busy. He's definitely employed full time.
I
He
apologize. Did I
has
say? I think I said Jim. I apologize. You're
yeah,
the
no
employee.
problem.
Sorry about that.
Yeah, Chris is very busy. He's working 45 hours a week. He's definitely topped out. Whenever we have overflow, we have a network of freelancers that we've used for almost the entire life of the business.
Great.
So he farms that out and then does the customer service.
Got it.
So if things get too busy, we have people that we can pass that to without sacrificing the end product or the customer experience.
Okay. You've covered this. Why are you selling it?
I am employed full time and I make a lot more money in my current job. So this site is nice, but I have just a much bigger opportunity. So I want to clear my plate and focus on where I'm most likely to make the most money.
That's, I think, almost always the most accurate answer. So thank you. That makes sense. You've done a great job. Actually, you proactively answered a lot of questions that came in during it. Um, I mean, I really think, and just to reiterate, what we're talking about here um, is a site within the forex market, which from our viewpoint, if you would, as brokers, we get a lot of inquiries, people asking about forex sites when they're for sale. Yours is obviously something that does programming, but you do have uh, quite a robust 3,500 person plus email list that you actively email weekly, where there's some real relevance and some real value there. So thanks for covering the ins and outs. Look, I just advanced the last slide because we're done. Um, Anyone listening to this, my name's Adam Beebe. If you go to latonas.com, two things: the listing is there where you can go over all the monthly financials, meaning the by month uniques, page views, revenue, and expenses. You get a synopsis of the business, if you will. In order to get a full prospectus, you need to sign an NDA, but that's all instructed on Latonas. This recording will be live on Latonas within 24 hours. So, Sean, great job. Thank you. And I hope you have a great day.
No, thank you, and thanks for your interest.
Take care.